Well, we're wrapping our first month of the October quarter. Let's hear from our DTS students what they learned the last week in worship and intercession.
For intercession, it was something that I've done before, but I think just the technique of the steps that we learn and kind of splitting it up and making sure that you just invite the Holy Spirit and you kind of get rid of your own ways of doing things, and just, you're inviting the Holy Spirit and you're, just have those steps to follow.
So I was under the impression that prayer was very performative, very structured, and just last week we were learning about, you can hear from God, you don't have to just make things up. It doesn't have to be the same thing, repetitive, before dinner and before you go to bed. Prayer is whenever you want it to be, and you just hear from God.
Worship, I loved those lectures. It was just, it was so great just to learn what worship really is, just building that throne for Jesus to come and enter into your worship, and just removing your own ideas and just allowing God to come and just creating that space for him was really important to learn about, and changes the way that you worship as well.
When Ken and I speak about how worship is intentional and how worship is our weapon, and then how worship is not just bound to music, how it's a lifestyle in a sense. And I feel like that really taught me how I need to wake up in a sense. Because I was worship, I have to do music. But now I feel every things I do, every small things I do, or all the things I had, I'm thinking of how could I glorify God? Which is a hard process right now, and I'm having a hard time rewiring my brain how to think like that. But ever since I began to think like that, I feel last week, this week, I've became more energized and became more genuine in a sense.
There's a lot of changes happening. In life, it's just a normal thing. Transition happens all the time when you're moving from one place to another, but then especially as we're a missions community, it happens all the time. You go on an outreach, you go to a different school, you staff a school. All of this is change and transition is happening all the time. And as a community, we've been wanting to grow in this area of debriefing. So we've been having a debrief seminar happening on our base this last week. And the feedback from it has been it's been so good to talk about, to process things, to have a debrief is such an important key for us to have.
Well, I think it is important sometimes to move forward. We need to look back. And sometimes we really need to look back and see what has God done, but also what have we gone through in life, in mission. The debrief is really also finding out what has happened in transition, because as cross-culture worker, we just encounter a lot of change, and that entails transition. And sometimes we don't mind change, but we don't like being in transition. And in debrief, it brings great relief to us, in the sense we can really leave things at the cross and don't have to carry them ourselves.
And for me, I just feel I walk away with a lot of tools that are really helpful for my personal processing with the things that happened. Sometimes it can be just a lot of minor things, but then they become big because they keep accumulating. And so I feel I learned how to process that better and well, and really walk out of it. So it's not just staying then in the emotion, but then how do I walk out of that into good conclusions about God, into freedom, into wholeness.
But it also, this week, really provided good tools to help others debrief. And I think it'll be great moving forward, whether it's just debriefing from an evangelism time or if there's a significant crisis that happens, and I feel a lot better equipped to help people process through that.
And I know I'm not a counselor, I'm not a psychologist, but I have tools now how I can help people, and even on an ongoing basis, how we can help our team to process better and to debrief on a regular basis, not just one-off, after 10 years of ministry.
Well, that's it for now. Tune in for next time.